Hi, I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. Um, I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid, that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still, during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, That ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent, and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her, or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things, and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then He gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when He told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. It's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with three other sons. Bless her with three other sons, and God willing, I'm sure that one of them, all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience, with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, and I'd appreciate.
All right. Hello, everyone, once again, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinyere of Gillette Style Glam. If this is your first time here with me, thank you so much for being here. And if you already subscribed to my channel, woo, thank you. Oh wow. Mm. I wasn't going to come out with a video. This wasn't what I was going to talk about today at all. And in fact, I had actually wanted to ignore it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about Monique's son, Shalon, who came out with a response to Monique and what she said on Club Shay Shay. Yeah, this one, I've been riding hard for Monique, but this one rubs me the wrong way, the wrongest way. You know, when I saw the video that Monique's son made a response, I wasn't sure what I was going to be listening to. I wasn't sure what I was going to hear because, like it or not, the last thing I wanted to hear was a son speaking disrespectfully about his mother, no matter what. But no, that wasn't what happened. We also are very aware that Monique said that she got married. 'Cause I want to unpack this from, the history, please. So bear with me. We hear Monique talk about a marriage that she never wanted and a child she never wanted to be responsible for. That much, that much she made us know. And on that, I'm going to say that I feel so sad for both parties. Remember, Monique said, and she was very clear, that she wanted to become a celebrity, a superstar. And that was all that mattered to her. And the fact that she got married wasn't what she wanted, or the fact that she had a baby, that wasn't in her agenda neither. And so it brings me back to what I said in my previous video, that Monique is a victim. And what I'm not too sure at this moment is how well Monique's therapy has been. Is she taking what she wants and throwing out the rest? You know, that's what I'm worried about. An abandoned child can never ever feel, it's inexplicable. The emotions that run through you are rejection, abandonment, lack of care. There's so many things to unpack in that. I can't even imagine it. I try to imagine it and I know how devastating it can be. Ordinarily, when when I'm hurt, either by my sister or my brother or my, mom or dad, I know how I feel. I know the layers and I know the kind of emotions I go through when I feel hurt. Not to talk about a child who the mother made to understand and know that they never wanted to have anything to do with you from the get-go. It's devastating. And Shalon spoke. And, no matter how nonchalant he wants to make it seem, it still hurts. You hear it in the words he uses when he says things like, a mother is a child's first love, and all that. You hear that. Excuse me, guys. I have an infection. I have a viral infection. I'm still not feeling great. Something is up, and I've told myself I'm not going to see the doctor because this is the third time, so I'm not going to see the doctor. And so, when you hear those words in his mind, from his mouth, you realize very quickly, yeah, he's still hurt. You know, he has his own child now, and we hear him reinforce himself about being a very good father and loving his children, and that is always the case. And so that, first of all, I want to exonerate Monique of the fact that she was in the business of marriage and having children when she had no business with it. He's not going to be the first, and I'm sure he wouldn't be the last. I actually know of a family, of a man, he's going on 60. And many of them, the stories are touching. And in his own case, this person, it was an occasion of a man and a woman who got together, and he was born. And the man told the mother to get rid of the pregnancy, but the woman, out of fear, refused. Until date, the father has never recognized that boy as his son. Till date, calls him dad, but it's not. He doesn't even visit him. And sometimes you could wonder how it's possible. How is it possible? Well, it's very possible because even animals do it. Animals do it. They have babies and abandon them. That's not what they are looking for at that time. It's very prevalent. So yes, it happens also. So most times when we hear women who say they don't want to have children or whatever, please respect that, because they understand what they know what they are talking about. They don't want it. Their biology is telling them no. And so if their biology tells them no, I think it's important that it is respected, and anyone forcing them to do otherwise is only going to be looking for another abandoned child again like this. Now, that said, this is Monique's son with another man. And we hear him talk about the distance. We hear him talk about need to adjust my just a little bit. Excuse me. So we hear him talk about the this is quite painful. It's hurtful. We hear him talk about how his journey with his mother. And I just want to make Shalon understand that it's not her fault. And I'm sure if she knew how to love you, if she knew how to cuddle you, give you the emotional stability you're looking for, the reassurance you're looking for, she would have. I'm sure she would have, but she doesn't know how to at this time. That said, I draw the line. I draw the line at Monique's husband being at the center of this mother-son relationship. I draw the line vehemently. I watched the video, and I'm going to see if I can attach it here. And he took over the whole conversation. And I'm beginning to question at this point Monique's maturity. You see, if Monique's husband is involved in her business as her manager, I don't give a damn. But you see, being involved in your business as a mother to another son that you have, no. I say no, I draw the line. No. Because from what Sydney said, that when this boy asked to call you daddy, you said no. Again, and then not just, let me finish that. And not just that he said no, he said because he had another daddy that we're friends with. Now, that's his prerogative. But the fact that you had to break the child's heart that way says a lot about you, Sydney. It says so much about you because he could have two fathers. After all, you're married to his mother. Yes, he could. He could. And so the fact that you actually opened your mouth to say it, I'm very concerned about who you are. Let's get back to Monique. And so Monique, I'm a little bit worried about your dependency on Sydney. I don't know how many words you put in this video. And I don't even understand why. As a mother, you choose the internet to respond to your child. You see, where I come from, again, remember, I've said it in another video. You never blame a child when something goes wrong. You blame the adult. Because the adult is supposed to know better. The adult is supposed to know better. If your son came online, you are the mother. You don't come online as well. That can be your MO for all the other people you've been doing your battle with. It's fine. But not for your own offspring, Monique. You don't do that to your own offspring, your own blood. You handle it like a mother. You know this. You know when a mother. You know when a parent goes and says, "I will slap that thing out of your mouth." Whatever be the case, I am still your mother. Pow! You stand on business that way. Beautiful example is David Beckham to his son. At the point when I think it was his wife, what was his name again, went online and to talk about something the mother did before their wedding, they shut it down fast. And so, Monique, this one, in what area? No. You did not get it. Whether you want to be his mother or not, you didn't get it. Now, I want to say something. He said, the son said something about the mom. Because I actually heard when she said, I extend an olive branch and blah, 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 blah. And it sounded like the son was saying that, if she really wanted to do that, then let her make the first step. Dear Shalon, your mom is African. And how most of Africans do things, and it's not all, but most of them, being that you're their child, being that she's your mother, she won't come. It's a respect thing because you are the child. And so when she says, my door is open, she's saying you should come. She won't. You see, and I say this because this is a norm that I have seen in many African cultures. I had this lady some time ago who had her daughter who didn't want to see her, and for whatever reason, the daughter said that the mom picked a favorite. And so she wasn't interested in seeing the mother. And the mother was suffering because she wanted to see her grandchildren. She couldn't see her grandchildren. The daughter refused. And, asking her questions, for her, she didn't understand what she did wrong. And you see, that's the thing, because they're parents. They don't see it that way. So on that one, Shalon, I would let you know quickly, she's your mother. She's not your mate. Do you understand? She's not your bestie. She's going to handle it that way. Monique, what I have to say at this point is you have to define what Sidney gets involved with and what he does not. Again, I want to be clear. You said that Sidney is your manager. Okay? So the word manager means for your businesses. And that's it. This one, no. This is something you have to do by yourself, Monique, for yourself, with your son, and for your son. If no matter how much you guys say that, we're getting older, blah, 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 at the end of the day, in the same way, I'm going to throw that same language back to you and Sidney, that yes, you're both going to be alone. You're not going to stand in as husband and wife. No, alone. And everyone is going to carry their cross on their own. Okay, so I'm going to throw that back at you. Okay, and understanding that and knowing fully well that on this one, you didn't get it right. Not at all. This is so sad and disheartening. I've seen comments where people said, fame. No, it's not fame. And I want to reiterate again, Monique, however you want to see Monique, in whatever form you want to see her, Monique has a lot of battles. The thing is, how is she navigating those battles? Is she navigating to sink or to swim? And like I said in the previous video, the fact that she is a victim of, molestation, is that a precedent to a lot of things that she's doing vis-a-vis her family, especially? Okay? Because, again, where she's coming from to where she is going, and these are the questions that require answers. In all honesty, I'm not sure I want to see Sidney anymore by her side.
Time that when he was a little boy, I wasn't interested in being a mother. I was interested in being a star. And I was interested in being famous. And I wasn't interested in being a wife. I was interested in taking pictures and red carpets and signing autographs and traveling the world. So I didn't really put the focus in. And now that I'm 52 and he'll be 30, well, I pay for that. There's a price you have to pay for that. And I had to apologize to my son